Oh yeah, Paul the Pipe Guy here. So let's talk about Scotty's Butternut Burley. Scotty's Butternut Burley is just a great blend. I love it. And it just tastes like butter and it's hard to describe. Well, Scotty's Butternut Burley, you used to be able to order it and it would show up if you ordered a pound. It was all mixed and everything, all pre-mixed. And now, when you order it, because the FDA or some agency says, oh, you can't put these two components together and make this blend, they're bad. You get two different packages, okay? And you can only order it in bulk that I know of. I ordered a pound of it, and I had a half a cup measuring cup. I was measuring out, so they give you two bags, which equals 8 ounces. But one bag has a little more, whatever it is in it, than the other one. And so I tried to mix it up. I actually ordered 1 pound, so I got 4 bags. There's a darker tobacco and then a lighter tobacco, which I suspect is Burley. So I tried to measure everything out, and then I was like, oh man, I got still 2 ounces of this one bag left. So what I decided to do is I took my crock pot, and what I did is I measured out a half a cup. I'd throw a half a cup of one bag, a half a cup of another bag into the mason jar until it got about halfway full. I'd shake it and shake it and shake it and shake it, mix it up. Then I'd pour it into another mason jar and then repeat the process, fill it up maybe a third of the way, okay? Because I wanted to mix it up real good. Then I ended up with extra tobacco, and it was just like, okay, what am I gonna do, So what I ended up doing is I ended up getting a very large stainless steel bowl, and I just dumped everything that I had mixed up with the extra little bit that I had, and just kept mixing it and mixing it and mixing it. And then, I took one of those canning jar things that they're bigger than the canning jar, and just loaded it all back up in there. And then, so now I've got, that's not even a pound. A pound of Scotty's Butternut Burley is going to give you just shy of 3 mason jars. That one I didn't pack it, but it's up. I tapped it. It's full. Same thing with that one. Tapped it. It is full. And that one we just came a little shy of the top. So I want to do a comparison between the old Scotty's Butternut Burley that came pre-mixed and the new stuff I just mixed. Now, you have to keep this in mind. There's 4 years difference in age. I'm going to load up 2 pipes and let's do a taste test. But you got to mix it right, okay? You got to do as I said. Take a mason jar, a half cup. You got 1 bag of the lighter stuff here, 1 bag of the darker stuff. Mix it up, put it a third of the way up in the jar, and then shake it for 5 minutes, man. Shake it all around. And then you pour that into another mason jar. And then you do that same thing. And then when this mason jar is halfway full, you shake that one. And just make sure it's totally mixed up perfectly. There's 2 blends to Scotty's Butternut Burley. I don't know what they are. Let's do a taste test and see if it's different. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. So I have 2 pipes loaded up with this. But let's do a smell test first. This is the original Scotty's Butternut Burley, and I have about 1/3 of a pound there. So altogether I have about 1.30 pounds. And this is from January of 2021 when they pre-mixed it. Let's do a smell test. Just like I know it to be. And now let's smell the one that I've just blended. And to give it some fairness, I just blended it. So the 2 different components, the 2 different tobaccos, and whatever toppings they have in them, haven't really had a chance to marry quite yet. This one's a tough one. Really, the newer version smells a lot more milder. There's definitely a lot more aroma in my version that's almost 4 years old. Now, let's set something on fire and see what we have. So in the first pipe I have is my Savinelli. She's my go-to girl. We have the old Scotty's Butternut Burley that was always pre-blended. Let's try that. Always a good smoke. Gives you a little buttery taste. Awesome room note. You can taste the burley, but it tastes like buttery burley. It's great. So keep in mind, this is a bit unfair of a test for 2 reasons. Number one, that's aged for 4 years, their original blend. And number 2, it's had time for the flavors to marry. And I just blended this, so it hasn't had time for the flavors really to marry and create an awesome blend. So we're going to try the new Scotty's Butternut Burley that I just got it. Extremely good if you blend it right. You got to get, if you order 8 ounces of this and it comes with 2 bags, you better get that blended real good. And if that involves putting it in a big bowl and taking your clean hands and keep mixing it, then you do that. I would have to say they really taste the same. The only exception being The older Scotty's Butternut Burley, that's aged for 4 years and it's time for all the flavors to marry, is just a slight bit more mellow. But other than that, yeah, Scotty, you did a good job at overcoming the law. Yeah. Did a good job. Great blend. It isn't going to be around. They're good to, I hear a lot of rumors are going to discontinue it. If you want it, find it now, but realize you're going to get 2 packages. You're going to have to blend it yourself. Just make sure that you blend it all together extremely well. Just keep mixing it and mixing it and mixing it and mixing it and mixing it. The new blend is just like I remember my first time 4 years ago when I smoked this aged blend. So, good job. AAA+.